Hi folks, welcome to the Prepared Homestead. This is Travis. Thank you all for stopping by to watch. Well, today we're not going to talk about food and food shortages that some people believe are going to happen and others say we're going to be fine. We're not going to talk about the economy. We're not going to talk about inflation. We're not going to talk about Russia. We're not even going to talk about homesteading and gardening and stuff. We're going to talk about something that I think is very rapidly being bumped up to one of the most important issues that is happening right now. This has been building for years, okay? And we'll talk about that. And it fits so well with the Great Reset and everything else. This is something very serious, and if you're not aware of it, you need to be not just aware of it, but on top of it, because I don't see this going anywhere in a good direction. And that is the United States government has now established a Ministry of Truth. I'm sorry. That was from the book 1984. We have now established the DHS, a Disinformation Governance Board. A Disinformation Governance Board. And while the details of what that board is going to do and the details of their authority and how that they will disseminate disinformation and all that, it's a little sketchy still. Even Jen Psaki today at the press conference, or her little press briefing, basically had no clue. According to what she said, she had no clue of anything about it. Almost acted like that they hardly even knew that it existed. I mean, she did say that the president and the administration supports this. Apparently, she didn't even know who was going to be running this board. I mean, I don't know that I can believe that, because she's so full of the truth. But this is now a reality, okay? I know it sounds like a joke. In fact, I believe it was Missouri's very own Senator Josh Hawley said that when he heard it, he thought it was a joke. When he heard that DHS was forming a Disinformation Governance Board, he thought that it was a joke. Okay, but he realizes that it's not. And when I first heard it, I'm pretty much did the same thing. I thought it was a joke, but it's not, folks. The DHS has now formed a Disinformation Governance Board. And if you remember a few months back, I was talking about their bulletin on disinformation. Remember, I did a whole video on that, and how if you speak not necessarily untruth, if you speak something that doesn't conform with the official narrative, and that's pretty much what they said in that bulletin. If you're talking about the health crisis, if you're talking out against government, any of these issues that's going on, if it doesn't toe the government line, if it doesn't support government, if it's speaking against government, or it's causing people to question the official narrative, then you are speaking disinformation, and it is a threat to national security. And now we have a Disinformation Governance Board. And there's a lot here to unpackage. I don't even know if I'm going to get to all of it in this video, but I'm telling you, folks, this is a very serious, and I don't like using this word a lot, but it's a scary thing. Back, if for those of you that's been watching this channel for a while, at least back to when the election happened, if you remember back then, I was telling you the stuff that was going on, not with the election, not with votes and all that, but how the left was painting the conservative right, the people that voted for Trump, the people online. They were at that time talking about rounding all the conservatives up and putting them through re-education camps. I mean, there were actually people saying that. I'm not making that up. You can go back and you can look at their tweets and news reports. They were talking about re-educating people. They were talking about that people should lose their jobs. They should lose their privileges in society because they supported this person, or they're speaking out against who was elected. And I said then that we are headed down an extremely dangerous, dark path by doing that. And here we are over a year later, and not only do we have this disinformation board over the last few weeks, and it's culminating with this Elon Musk purchasing Twitter, and I'm not a fanboy of Elon Musk. He's done some good things, but I think that he's part of the globalists. Okay, folks, don't get blinded by that. I mean, this is the guy that's wanting to put microchips in human brains. Okay, that's what he's wanting to do. Look up Neuralink. But anyways, with that announcement happening, it's interesting that this Disinformation Governance Board came into existence just shortly thereafter. But leading up to that, we have heard this building narrative that the truth hurts democracy, that we can't allow free speech, that free speech is a danger, that free speech should be limited, that free speech is a bad thing. And a lot of you are kind of surprised. A lot of you are maybe in shock and like, what in the world is going on? And for those of us that's been big supporters of the Second Amendment and have been down this road and in this foxhole for decades now with these lefties, it's kind of like the meme. This is your first time, obviously, facing this attack on our Constitution, this attack on a basic human right of free speech. And it sounds crazy. They've been doing this for years with personal defense, but now it's free speech. Free speech is a bad thing. It hurts a free society. Free speech hurts a free society. Unfettered. I've actually heard them use those words in the last few days. Unfettered free speech is a danger to society. In fact, if I'm not mistaken, if I'm correct, I'll try to find the tweet, and maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm right. But I believe that the new appointed director of this Disinformation Governance Board has actually used that word, that unfettered free speech is a danger to democracy, or at least something like that. And speaking of her, the woman that has been appointed the director of this Disinformation Governance Board through DHS, Nina Jowakowicz, I don't remember. I know I just butchered her name. I tried several times before making this video to pronounce it, and I just messed it up. But anyways, this person is a far lefty. She was through the election. Really trying to kind of spread disinformation and toting the left's official narrative. The whole Hunter Biden, laptop, she was trying to spread disinformation there. She has actually worked for the Ukrainian government and had worked for, I can't remember, some NGO that spreads global democracy to actually try to basically tear down Russia, to destroy the Russian government in a sense of bringing democracy there. This is the kind of person that we're dealing with. This person is a very far radical lefty in every way that you can imagine, at least based on the tweets and the work that she's done. And this is the person that's now in charge of this Disinformation Governance Board. Folks, for those of you that's been in this game for a while, you know as well as I do, we were all speaking out against the formation of DHS and the Patriot Act and how this was going to be a dangerous thing. This bringing together, this consolidation of authority was going to be a very bad road for Americans. And at the time, there were so many people saying, "Oh, it wasn't that big of a deal." It's efficient. It's efficient to bring everything under the big banner of DHS. And a lot of us were saying, "No, this is bad." And here we are. We're seeing it happen. The Patriot Act was sold a bill of goods that it was to help Americans be safer from these foreign terrorists that, fly things into buildings. And when in fact the Patriot Act has been, I'm sure, probably used way more against American citizens than anyone else. And now this Disinformation Governance Board, they claim that it's going to be used to focus on irregular immigration, the disinformation of irregular immigration, which irregular immigration is code word for illegal immigration. And so they're going to use it to try to stop the disinformation being spread on irregular immigration, which I guess that's the new code word. So be listening for that. And then also with the Russia-Ukraine war and stuff. But here's the deal, folks. Just like I said with the Patriot Act, once this power is given, I assure you it will not take very long for this Disinformation Governance Board to spread its wings and its grasp over many other things. Now, to what extent will this be used? I don't know. And again, the information has been very thin. In fact, I was watching a hearing in Congress, and they were, I believe, maybe it was a Senate hearing, and one of the senators was asking, Jim Jordan, I believe, and he was asking about the authority of this board, and was basically getting no information. So I don't want to speculate too much on what this board will be doing and how much authority they have. But I think the history has already proven itself of what their intention is going to be. I mean, when we've got the president and the press secretary and the Kamala Harris, the vice president, and many others within the administration actually speaking out against free speech. I mean, they're very open that free speech is a bad thing and that we've got to stop this disinformation. I don't know how we got to this point in a society. I mean, I don't know how we got to the point in a society that it's okay for little boys to dress like girls and parade around, with grown men dressed like women. But hey, that's happening too, and it's wrong. But I don't know how we got to this point in a society that people are actually attacking free speech, that we don't want free speech, that we want only a few powerful people in certain places that control what is said. What happened to the left? I mean, if I remember correctly, when I was younger and even before my time, the left was the ones that were really the free speech people. That's at least what they were saying, and they wanted you to be able to say whatever you wanted. And the conservatives were like, well, some things are inappropriate. We shouldn't say inappropriate things. And the left was like, no, you should be able to cuss. You could be able to say vulgar things. You could be able to say anything you want. And the left was really, especially in the 60s and 70s and even 80s, they were the anti, big government, anti, big brother party. And now, well, they're not. And maybe not the Democrats, but at least the far left. And now the far left is like crying out and begging for more control. They want control over what they say and do. And that's where we've come in America. And this Disinformation Governance Board is quite scary. And again, I don't like using that word. I don't want to come across as fear-mongering, and that's absolutely not what I mean when I say it's scary. I'm telling you, though, that this is right in line with Big Brother, One World Government, New World Order, World Economic Forum, because none of those things can truly exist and exist successfully if the people are allowed to be truly free, if the people are allowed to speak out against them. It just doesn't work that way, folks. And so not only, how we've said for many years, how they want to take away our right to defend ourselves and the tools that we use to defend ourselves, they also now want to take away our right to actually speak out against anything that we call evil, even if we're wrong. These people over the last couple of years that's been speaking out against the and the even if those people are wrong, even if the information that they've been spreading is wrong, as a free society, it should be allowed. Okay? Freedom is dangerous. And that's just it. If you want to be free, you got to live in a fairly dangerous society, because a complete totalitarian government, that's where you have truly peace and safety, where no one is allowed to do anything, even to do anything wrong, to do anything right or wrong. And you can have complete safety. You just have no freedom. You can't have both, okay? And most Americans have known that for a long time. And we're willing to give up a little to get another. But now we're at a place that so many Americans don't care. They don't want freedom. It's not that they're, can we come up with a balance? That's where the left has been for a while. Let's try to balance this. enough freedom to make us feel free, but enough, big government to make us safe. Now it's like, we don't need freedom. Freedom's bad. Freedom's bad, 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 bad. All we need is safety and security. And this is a serious thing, folks. And for folks like you and I, you speak out in public, you speak out online, you share information. I've been warning all of you, you're a target, you're a target, you're a target, you're a target. And some of you ask, well, how can I do things online and mask my, presence? What software can I use? What can I do? Nothing. Nothing. There's absolutely nothing. There are things that kind of help, but there's nothing you can do to avoid the prying eye of Big Brother. Their technology capabilities are far greater than anything you can imagine, unless you're, some tech junkie for Elon Musk or Bill Gates. You probably don't have the capability to avoid them watching you. Unless you want to go completely off-grid, and I'm not talking off-grid like solar panels. I'm talking off-grid where you're outside of the digital realm. You don't have any bank accounts. You have no licenses, no nothing, no internet, no cell phones. Next to doing that, they're watching you. I mean, they can listen to your conversations with satellites in the air and other even more tech. They don't even have to use satellites in the air, because you have cell phones now that sit in your pocket and they can listen to them even when they're turned off. The amount of Big Brother tech is so gargantuan. Even people that are into that, even people that are knowledgeable and security professionals, can't even fully wrap their heads around it. It's mind-boggling how big it is. And this is the world that we live in. I hear people all the time asking. In fact, the other day at the meeting, it was a conversation that came up. Like, what will we have to do as individuals to get back our rights, to get this country back to freedom? I don't know if that's possible anymore. That's the big thing. They have so much technology and so much manipulation over the people. They have dumbed down the population so much, and there's so much fear, and I just don't know that it's even possible. And if it is, it's going to take way more than some sons of liberty and guys in pubs printing pamphlets and passing them around. It's going to take a lot, and it may be too much. The point is, folks, this is I believe a very serious page, not just a page, an entire chapter, a new chapter in American history. And I don't believe for one moment that I'm blowing this out of proportion. This Disinformation Governance Board, it's just getting started. I suspect it's going to grow in its power. Who knows? It may end up being its own department at some point, because it will grow and grow and grow. Get prepared, folks. Other than preparing your soul and getting your life right with the Lord, get yourselves prepared in this cultural secession that I've talked about, where you just break away from society and you try to live as far away from the system as possible. That may be your only hope, because there's so much happening right now that they're growing at a rate that I just don't think that most people even realize. Folks, get your houses in order. And I mean that. Prepare yourselves mentally, physically, and spiritually. Thank you for watching. I'll catch you in the next video.